Saturday night in the USL Championship brings us to Segra Field in Leesburg, Virginia, a clash between Loudoun United and Miami FC. With Chris Nurse, I'm Josh Eastern. Thanks so much for being with us. The standings in the Eastern Conference right now, Loudoun United sitting in that 8th and final playoff spot. 3 points tonight could move them above Detroit and Rhode Island, who drew earlier today. As for Miami, 3 points today could get them into double-digit points. For Loudoun United, it's been a stark contrast between their first 10 and their last 10. They're trying to emulate what they've done over these last 10 games.
Yeah, and I think the one thing that sticks out the most is their ability to clean sheets. If you look at the first 10 games, 0 clean sheets. If you look at the last 10 games, they kept 5 clean sheets, and it's had a dramatic impact on their goals conceding just 9 goals in their last 10 games in comparison to 17 in their first 10 games. Their defense has definitely been an uptick in the form they've been having.
Loudoun United forward Wesley Leggett has been in great form as of late. 6 goal contributions in his last 5 games.
Yeah, 6 goals in 5 games is tremendous. And alongside the captain, Zach Ryan, he's been a tremendous player in the last 10 games for this team. And it's been a contribution in the offense to the uptick that they're having as a team.
For Miami FC, it's no secret, it has been a struggle so far this year. Winless in 13. Their only draw during that stretch, though, against Loudoun United.
Yeah, winless in 13 and 0 wins on the road this season. So it's going to be interesting to see if that form continues tonight against Loudoun. But the most dangerous team to play against is somebody with nothing to lose. And I think it's safe to say that Miami is not going to make the playoffs or doing anything fantastic this season. So it's going to be interesting to see if they're able to cause an upset tonight for Loudoun and put a dent into their playoff aspirations.
Miami FC forward Frank Lopez, he scored 5 goals this year. They've all been in the last 8 games.
Yeah, everything positive through Miami's attack generally comes through Frank Lopez. And if you look at the type of goals he scores, it's normally through individual brilliance. It's not like he's been provided with great service. So I imagine the form that he's having, he's a player that's going to attract a lot of attention from other teams throughout the league.
We are building you up to first kick tonight from Leesburg, Virginia and Segra Field. The second matchup in 2024 between Loudoun United and Miami FC. We'll have lineups and first kick on the way coming up next on ESPN+.
DC News Now, bigger and only getting better.
Join us as we welcome Susan Tran to the DC News Now team.
Decades of journalism experience, a steadfast commitment to community, and an energy we can't wait for.
Susan Tran joins DC News Now, super serving the DMV with Susan Tran at the anchor desk.
Good evening, and thank you so much for joining us on DC News Now.
This is business today. Fast, unpredictable, always changing. Shifting trends and technologies are pushing aside old rules. The unexpected is the new normal. At Segra, we'll help you navigate a complex future with state-of-the-art voice, internet, and data protection solutions. We know you have dreams, and we see your potential. Segra, freedom to grow.
Gas prices got you fuming? No need to get heated. Save time and money with Metro. Ride, save, explore. Metro. Make your trip monumental. Sightsee through DC without overspending on gas and ride shares. Experience DC the local way. Ride, save, explore. Metro.
DC News Now is only getting bigger.
We're taking over the DMV with a regional approach to news that fits your needs better than anyone else.
With multi-state traffic patterns, we're giving you a narration that really helps you get around.
Giving you a larger scope of the area so you're better informed of incoming weather. Because if it's raining in Chantilly, it's probably not raining in Bethesda. Yet.
DC News Now.
The station in the know, in the community.
And covering more ground than anyone in the DMV.
Tonight's starting lineups, we'll start with Loudoun United FC, a 3-4-3 for Ryan Martin tonight, who makes just one change on that back line.
Looks like a 3-4-3 formation. However, as the game progresses, I imagine the fullbacks, Awa and Tingy drop back in to make it a back five, and I imagine that's been what's given them a lot of stability defensively in having a lot of clean sheets in their past 10 games, and obviously conceding a lot less goals than they were earlier in the season.
For Miami FC, it's 3 changes for Antonio Nocerino off that 2-1 defeat against Oakland.
Yeah, and Miami's formation is fairly fluid too. Sometimes it can look like 4-3-3, sometimes it can look like a standard 4-4-2. I envision the form in the season they're having. They want to start to stay in games as long as possible and keep themselves tight, compact and disciplined. When we spoke to Nocerino during the week, he was speaking about the mentality of his players, and if they don't win the game, the mentality is that they don't lose. So it's going to be interesting to see how they approach this away from home, given that they have not won an away game all season.
Our referee this evening is Brad Jensen. He'll have the whistle as we are just about set for kickoff. There were storms that came through earlier. They have since moved out of the area, and we are ready to go for some USL Championship action. There's the whistle, and away we go. It's Loudoun United and Miami FC. The second meeting in 2024 between Loudoun and Miami when they faced off back on June the 22nd, a 2-2 draw. That was the last point that Miami was able to put on their resume here in 2024. They scored 2 goals in 26 minutes, and then it was 2 second-half goals in 2 minutes for Loudoun that got them a point in the end. Trying to find Abu Kura through the middle, and Miami's able to get this one away.
Yeah, and I actually thought one of the keys to this game was going to be for Loudoun to get an early goal and get off to a fast start. I think being able to take the wind out of the sails of Miami FC nice and early and kind of bring that here we go again feeling to them being away from home would be important in being successful in this game. I think the longer that Miami FC stay in the game, they're going to get belief and confidence, and then the opportunity for the upset is going to be right there.
And you talk about that road form for Miami, 7 losses and 1 draw so far this season. They've only scored 7 away goals in this being their 9th road match. They have conceded 19 on the road. That's Daniel Gagliardi getting the start in goal tonight for Miami. He started the last few games after a long spell on the bench, but he is back in the good graces of Antonio Nocerino and back in the starting lineup as Cabral is tripped by former Miami FC man Florian Valot. 58 appearances, 7 goals for Valot over the last 2 seasons with Miami. Bota moves it out wide, and Miami can look forward here. Gavilanes through the middle, the header is looping, it's in! What about this start for Miami FC on the road? Rocco Genzano, it's 1-0.
And we spoke about Loudoun needing to get off to a fast start. It's actually been Miami FC who have got off to the fast start, getting the go-ahead goal in just the first 2 minutes of the game. This header looked like it was going wide. It didn't actually look like it was going to creep in. It didn't look like it got enough power in it to beat the goalkeeper through from that distance, but it did exactly that, looping into the side netting, giving Miami FC the go-ahead goal.
A team that is tied for the 6th least amount of goals scored coming into the weekend in the USL Championship with just 21, but they get a goal inside of 3 minutes on the road. And again, Loudoun will have to play from behind against Miami this year.
Yeah, we spoke a lot in the pre-match about Loudoun's clean sheets that they've had in their past 10 games, and they won't be getting another one tonight, unfortunately. Conceding in the first 2 minutes, I'm pretty certain Ryan Martin did not have that on his game plan. It's going to be interesting to see how Loudoun players on the field react right now.
Genzano gets his 2nd goal of the season, and the perfect start tonight for Miami FC. Here's Wesley Leggett. He's trying to hold play up. Whistle in the middle, and a free kick to Loudoun. And Loudoun side playing without key players such as Zach Ryan and Drew Skundrich as well.
Yeah, and I think you also see, I think it looks like Palacios is playing as a centre-back in this game so far, in the way they've lined up and they've been positioned. It's looked like the 2 centre-backs at the moment is looking like Knutson and Palacios. So some players operating in some different positions so far tonight.
First chance for Loudoun to send one forward into the box. This one floated towards goal, headed away. Tingy trying to keep it in. The shot deflecting. It's saved. The rebound is skied. What a chance on the opportunity for Loudoun.
There was some brilliant defending, some great attacking, and it ended up being a terrible effort that lets Miami FC off the hook. Really, we should be looking at a game that's 1-1 right now. That's a brilliant volley with a technique there. That's a decent save from the keeper. That rebound, he just needs to hit the target, and he leans way back. Ball skies over the crossbar, and it's a huge let off for Miami FC after taking the lead just 2 minutes ago. Loudoun could have got themselves equal.
Tonight's shots are brought to you by Smoothie King in the DMV. Try the new Dude Perfect Smoothie at Smoothie King. Get yours now only at Smoothie King. That was Wesley Leggett. We talked about his great form, 4 goals in his last 5. He's added a couple of assists over those 5 games as well. He had 2 chances right at the 6-yard box and not able to beat Gagliardi.
Really interesting there when Loudoun have possession of the ball. Miami FC are being pressed very high up. They stay extremely committed to building out at the back, despite Loudoun being very aggressive with the numbers that they're pushing forward when they're building.
Again, trying to play out, and Loudoun intercepts. They get it back in their possession to build out from the back. Hugo Farou starts in goal again tonight for Loudoun.
And I think that's kind of been the theme of Miami's season so far. It's not necessarily...
This is turned over. It deflects out of play. It's a corner kick, so it's Loudoun getting themselves into trouble now.
Yeah, it's not Miami FC's. Not every performance has been awful, but there's been a lot of mistakes in their performances that have cost goals that obviously then cost them games. And a lot of that has come from them trying to play out from their defensive third, that they haven't been brilliant at doing this so far this season. And they concede the ball in positions where the opponents have the opportunity to pick up the ball and get shots off in a fairly quick period of time.
An in-swinger towards the near post. This one just staying in play and cleared. Toronto, he goes down, and a free kick to Miami. And they've started well in this game in these opening 7 minutes.
Yeah, it's been a fairly even sparring match so far in these opening games. A lot of needless free kicks, a couple of chances for both teams. I think it's Valode just a little bit late with his tackle. Mitrano's past him and heading towards goal. Probably a little fortunate the referee doesn't put him into his book for that challenge.
Mitrano will pick himself up, and a set piece on the way for Miami. You're right on the boundary of whether you can really go for goal or just try to lift it in. Ilanez alongside Cabral standing over this. I'll just touch this into play. Palacios sends it the opposite direction he was looking for.
Yeah, wild effort there from Palacios. Despite getting decent connection on the ball, it was only ever bending away from target. No threat there for Farou whatsoever.
And again, Loudoun will look to build out. Keegan Tingy gonna play it down the line. Palacios coming over. Put in a strong challenge, and all the way back to Gagliardi.
As we spoke about, Palacios operating in that defensive line tonight. Very different from the midfield that we're accustomed to seeing him in. But so far in this opening 10 minutes, it's working for Miami FC.
Palacios, who spent 2021 and 22 with Miami, spent last year with Omaha, and currently signed to a 25-day contract with Miami FC. Over the top. And Miami able to keep it in this attacking third. Here's Bota. Cabral finding that penetrating pass to the end line. I don't think that stayed in play. It's out for a goal kick.
It's a great idea there from Cabral. Just a little bit too hard. The weight on the pass is just a little bit too much. But the idea and the vision, the creativity, excellent from Cabral.
Farouk elects to go long over the top. A bit different for Loudoun without Zach Ryan up top. Not quite the target man that Wesley Leggett isn't quite the target man that Zach Ryan is. And Ryan has been a crucial player for them. 8 goals, 3 assists this year. As they win this back in a good area. Johnston for Velo. Gonna cut this in. Loudoun will just keep the ball instead. Johnston. Again, Johnson out wide. Owua. Abukura. Hughes and now Tingy. Again, Loudoun looking for a way through, showing some patience now. Their first long spell of possession.
Yeah, good patience from Loudoun. But it's actually been good defensive shape from Miami FC. They're forcing Loudoun to play sideways and backwards. At one point, they were at the edge of the 18-yard box for Miami FC, but there was just no way to play forward, no space in between the lines. And Loudoun ended up right the way back in their own 18-yard box, almost there to start the build again.
Again, McCabe, Abukura, and Robbie Dambrot. Owua, good hesitation, and he'll progress forward for Loudoun. Owua looking in field, Velo's in the middle. It's touched away by Knutson. Another chance here for Loudoun. Abukura trying to weave his way through, and Miami able to break this one up. Loudoun, though, win it right back. Abukura deflected and out for a corner.
And that's good play from Owua. And it's exactly what Loudoun needed. Sometimes when a team has very good defensive shape, and it's difficult to break down through passes, you need a player who has the ability to take players on and draw pressure from 2 or 3 guys. And Owua did that. That's how they were able to break the line, then create forward passes. And obviously they didn't get the shot on target, but you can see the threat that he possesses on the left-hand side of the field for Loudoun United. They're going to need to find him more frequently on the ball, because you see the ability he has and the ability to take players on and make things happen.
This is an IBEW Local 26 corner kick. IBEW Local 26, empower your future. Tommy McCabe readying to send this in for Loudoun, their first corner kick of the game.
Danborough just trying to get the referee's attention nice and early. Feels like he's having his jersey pulled.
Nothing doing on the corner kick. Miami able to clear it quickly, and maybe they can look to counter. Mitrano with his head up and looking for options, weaving through, keeps it on the challenge from Erlinson.
Exactly that. Mitrano has his head up looking for options, and he just doesn't have a forward pass on, so they end up going backwards, keeping possession, when the opportunity to break Loudoun down on the counter-attack was right there, but there was just nobody making runs forward.
Now Palacios. Broken up in the middle. Abukura. Below for McCabe and Johnston.
In a younger, inexperienced lineup or team from Miami FC that we've seen over the years, Palacios is one of the more experienced players, and there's been times this season when his decisions in possession or his ability to keep the team possession or manage the tempo of play has been questionable. He has to take a more of a leadership role, a leadership responsibility in managing the speed of play, the tempo of play, keeping the ball in, keeping the team in possession and making smart decisions in possession. I think there's a few times this year when he's given up possession needlessly and it's cost Miami FC.
Palacios, the second oldest player in the starting lineup today. It's Frank Lopez, who has him beat by a year. 29 versus 28 is Palacios. And here is Palacios on the ball again. Bota.
That's an option there where I feel like the possession could be more purposeful. Bota does well there in possession. He's in good possession of the ball, has the ball at his feet, and the pass ends up going backwards to no threat rather than finding a forward option. And that could be the players in front not providing an option, or Bota just feeling a little bit insecure and playing safe in those moments. But I feel like he's a player who has the ability, who can take more risks going forward to make things happen for Miami FC.
Well, to help to start that move that led to the goal for Miami. Now it's Abukura. Palacios quickly sends it forward. A hopeful ball that's taken by Lopez.
Yeah, I think Palacios' aggressiveness, the way he anticipates and willing to step forward and win the ball has been an added presence to Miami FC's back line. He's done well in these opening 15 minutes in the defensive line.
Knutson. And Genzano has to turn it back.
You can see it's almost like a back three when Miami are building up from the back, with Palacios operating centrally and Knutson coming to the left, and the three of them stretch the field, allowing the wide players to get a little bit higher up. So you can see Metrano operating a little bit higher and wider out here, and obviously Genzano on the opposite side.
Another deflection. Miami seems to be confident on the ball here to start. Antonio Nocerino has talked about the struggles and what it's been like over the last few weeks and months, trying to get this team to buy in, trying to finish this season strong. He talks a lot about mentality, especially with a young team, or maybe as we put it, maybe more inexperienced than really young.
Yeah, and it takes time to change mentality and to change culture. And I think if he stays with Miami FC for a long period of time, you'll start to see that change over the years. You know, they're building the USL Academy team. They're trying to develop and build youngsters from there who they can promote through the system. He talks about always playing teams 2 years up, not so much focused on the results in the younger teams and more focused on developing players who have the potential to advance to the senior team or to play professionally, which is very important. You can have a lot of success in the younger ages and never make it to professional level, because maybe the success that you're having is a false perception of what's required going forward. So providing that challenge of players playing up, maybe losing games, but learning a little bit more along the journey is a little bit more valuable than just winning games 5 or 6-0. And he's very much in tune with that and has a vision long-term for the club.
And if you're a player, you're learning from a man who has been a pro at the highest level for a very long time in Italy, playing for clubs such as Milan, West Ham, Juventus, and then finished his career with Orlando City in Major League Soccer. Italian international as well, here in 15 caps. Definitely some Italian flavor as part of this Miami FC roster as they turn it over. Abukura, and cleared away.
And he was very clear about the culture in Italy, is that if you don't win the game, you don't lose. So if you feel like you're the inferior team, you feel like the other team is stronger than you, they maybe have more talented players, they maybe have had a little bit of more fortune this season, you maybe approach the game in a way where you play not to lose, rather than you just go into the game, play expansive, knowing you're inferior and end up getting beaten 3 or 4-0. You approach your mindset where you still take something out of the game.
That was the perfect start for Miami through Rocco Genzano in the 2nd minute. A looping header that beat Hugo Ferrou.
I think one thing that really stood out when we spoke to Nocerino also was he spoke about if the motivation or the desire has to be initiated by somebody else externally, then there's no long-term pathway for success. He said that desire, that passion has to come from inside the stomach of the player, of the individual, for the long-term success. He said if it's driven by somebody else externally, he doesn't believe that's a trait for success. He believes it has to be internal inside of the player.
Game night on DC News Now with Derek Forrest, Brandy Flores, Alex Flow, and Jake Rom. Game night, the only 7-day-a-week sports show, tonight at 11 on DC News Now.
Just shy of 20 minutes through this first half. Throw-in going Miami's way, won by Roberto Molina there on the far side. And now they're changing their minds. It will go Loudoun's direction.
We've spoken about the form of Leggett, but also important to note that Zach Ryan is missing tonight. Scored a free kick in the past game for Loudoun. He has 8 goals this year, the highest scorer. So it's going to be a tough night replacing that influence that he has, the ability to threaten back lines, score goals, captain leadership, set pieces. It's a big loss for them tonight, and being down a goal is going to be interesting to see who's able to step up and fill that void. It's not an easy void to fill.
And do have players such as Khalil El-Medkar, Tommy Williamson on the bench. We'll see at what point Ryan Martin and Loudoun want to dip into that bench. Obviously still very early. Some pressure here and turned over. McCabe, the low. Tingy looking to center that ball, and it's blocked away. It'll trickle out for a throw-in.
Yeah, Tingy should have took a shot there. Actually thought the shot should have come from the edge of the box earlier, but it's very interesting. And we spoke about Miami FC's, I want to say, stubbornness to continue to play out from the back, despite being pressed very aggressively. Ryan Martin's inexplicitly told us that he believes in having focus on the front runners being the best defenders. In other words, his front three are the first players to press and defend high up and try to win the ball high up the field where they can create goal scoring opportunities very early. And if you know you're playing against 3 players who aggressively press you, and you know that maybe you're not getting that much success or confidence from your back 4 and your goalkeeper, or your back 3 and goalkeeper playing from the back, then maybe you try something different. I think the willingness to stay consistent irrespective of not getting success is maybe questionable in the pursuit of picking up points. In the pursuit of developing players, of course, over the long term, it's only going to reap benefits because they're going to make mistakes, they're going to learn, they're going to grow. But we know that the USL Championship is very unforgiving, and you're going to lose games by making mistakes in those areas. And this isn't necessarily the development platform that you use to get those kind of mistakes. So it's going to be interesting to see how long it takes before things click. But I think building out from the Miami FC consistently so far this year has been their Achilles heel. They've made the mistakes in those areas that have been quickly converted into goals.
When you go back to the youth part of it, it's a little bit of a different look for Miami FC. We haven't necessarily seen that in past years. We've seen that a lot, though, with Loudoun. This is a much more experienced team here in 2024. They have players like Drew Skundrich, Zach Ryan, that unfortunately not available tonight, but somebody like Florian Velo, who's been with Miami in the past, and now coming to a more experienced team like Loudoun, is they're on the move again. Here is one of their youth players at Abu Kura. Out wide for Awuwa. The cross is deflected out of play. It'll be an IBEW local 26 corner kick on the way.
I think there always has to be a trade-off between the philosophy of the team and the players that you have available. If your philosophy doesn't match the players that you have available, then it's not going to work. You probably have to recruit players that match your style of play. And we saw a lot of talented players, a lot of gifted players, experienced players from Miami FC leave during the off-season, and a new batch of players come in that I don't necessarily know were recruited with this style of play in mind. And I think that's maybe been the challenge, is that maybe some of their skill sets don't suit the way that Miami FC are trying to play this season.
An in-swinger on the way from Tommy McCabe towards that near post. Cabral got his head to it. Abu Kura going to ground, finds McCabe. Again, cutting this infield. Flipping it through the middle. The shot taken, it was blocked. Another chance, Erlinson. Third chance, also blocked. Miami FC getting bodies in front of these shots from Loudoun.
Yeah, I think you have to give Miami FC credit. That's probably the second or third time where there's been a spell of pressure from Loudoun, and Miami FC have defended well. There's been shots from Loudoun, but you've seen the willingness of the Miami FC players to throw their bodies in front of the line, try to get blocks off, goalkeepers making saves. They're being tested in how they defend, and they're defending well at this moment.
It was Cabral who went down at the end of that, and he is receiving treatment now. Cabral, his second season with Miami after 2 years with Tormenta in USL League One.
And he's been the player in the midfield who's had the ability to pick up the ball and play those forward passes. Miami FC do have some dangerous weapons in offense. Gavilanes can be dangerous. We know that Lopez is dangerous, and Cabral is the guy who normally is the link-up who can feed them and find them in those areas. Guenzano can also be dangerous at times. So having the lead right now is a very uncomfortable situation for Loudoun. As we spoke about, missing Zach Ryan, it's going to be interesting to see how they adapt to get themselves back in this game, because right now when Miami FC are being tested on their defense, they're answering the call and defending well.
It's interesting, when we saw the lineup tonight without Zach Ryan in it, maybe would have expected somebody like a Tommy Williamson, who's more of a number 9, a striker. Wesley Leggett's played a lot on the wing this year, but it looks like he's playing through the middle tonight.
Yeah, and the difference, I think, McKay is obviously a very strong player in the center of the park, but he doesn't necessarily bring that attacking threat. He's more of a player who breaks up play, keeps possession of the ball, smart, industrious. But you lack that player. Obviously lacking your top goal scorer, your captain, is going to leave a big void in the center of your park.
Cabral shaking out some of the cobwebs as he makes the walk off. It's a throw in deep in that attacking third now for Loudoun after that sequence of 3 block shots. Erlinson switch the play. Awua. Miami's had that one good opportunity for their shot on target. Aside from that, it's pretty much been all Loudoun tonight.
You're a little bit quiet, but yeah.
Yeah, Loudoun have a number of shots, and they've had sequences where they've had 3 shots in one play back to back, and Miami FC just done a good job of reading the play, shutting the ball down, throwing their bodies in front of the ball. It's all part of good defending, and they've done that, but at some point the pressure builds up and you end up getting punished if you keep giving these type of opportunities away in the attacking third.
Most goals conceded this season in the USL Championship, Miami with 49. It's 16 more than the second place team. Miami will have another throw in coming.
And I think, as we spoke about it, the ability to not concede many goals or win games or not lose when you're not playing so well comes with experience. And that's maybe what they're lacking a lot, is the leadership on the field. The coach's voice from the sideline really can't impact you once the game gets done. It's normally the coach telling you something after the play's already happened. So you do need that on-field leadership of players who have been in this situation before, can govern the situations, can get their team organized and disciplined and into good shape. And that leadership has obviously been missing this season for Miami FC.
Below nods it down. Abukura looking to progress the other way for Loudoun as he tries to turn the corner. Knutson. Ball went out of play, and a throw-in going Miami's way.
Good defending from Knutson there. Aggressive, gets himself back goal side of the ball.
The USL Summer of Soccer continues on CBS Sports Network with a rematch from the 2023 Championship playoffs. Detroit shocked Pittsburgh last year, and they are looking for revenge. August 7th, 7 p.m. Eastern on CBS Sports Network. And this just outside the area. It looks to be a free kick rather than a point to the spot, as Awuwa was cut down.
Yeah, look, Awuwa is absolutely destroying Molina out there on the left-hand side. When he picks up the ball, so deceptive. You see he slows him down, jinks him one way, and then his acceleration picks up speed and goes past him. Molina does nothing but brings him down and fouls him in a very dangerous area, just on the edge of the penalty, on the edge of the penalty line. However, this counter-attack comes from a Miami FC throw-in. The ball is way up by the halfway line with Miami FC. They end up throwing it back towards their own goal and turning possession directly away to Loudoun.
Pretty much just a shorter corner coming for Loudoun.
Interesting, Loudoun have 3 players out on the ball and just 4 players inside the box in comparison to Miami's 8 or 9.
Cade just about ready to take it. And a stoppage here. Dambrot was tripped.
Yeah, definitely a very methodical approach to this set piece from Loudoun. Taking their time, they're in no rush whatsoever. 3 players started on the ball, they gradually drift into the box. There's now 8 players inside the box. Referee blows his whistle, and normally when the referee blows the whistle within a couple of seconds, the ball's delivered, but they're very intentional in taking their time with this set piece.
Velo goes down on the far side. Now it's touched into play. McCabe will try to send it towards goal. Awua puts it back in the mixer and cleared away.
Definitely an anti-climax from all that waiting. Thought something spectacular was about to arrive. It ended up being a very mishit shot.
Loudoun will get to reset everybody here as they hold the ball in their defensive half. If you're Loudoun, you have to expect or have some confidence that you can find some goals against this Miami side. They've conceded multiple goals in 12 straight and in 16 total games this year. As Leggett is tripped up. No whistle, and a player down for Miami is Junior Palacios.
Yeah, and I hope Palacios can get back to his feet because he's been very important at the back there for Miami FC. Even if you see when this ball comes in, just a strong physical battle with Leggett, and Palacios ends up coming away on top, frustrating Leggett. I even thought in this situation Leggett went down a little bit easier than he should have. He could have stayed on his feet and obviously tried to use his strength, but you can see Palacios there, reads it, uses his body well. Half of one, 6 a dozen of the other. Don't really think there's much to complain at, but you obviously see Palacios go down after this, grabbing the back of his knee or the back of his calf. Definitely a play that Nocerino needs out there for the full 90 minutes today.
Palacios back to his feet. Loudoun trying to get that man, Wesley Leggett, involved a little bit more tonight.
Yeah, Leggett just has to shrug it off, stop throwing your hands up in the air and find a way to beat him. You might not win the speed battle, you might not win the physical battle, so now you have to use a little bit more intelligence in the positioning. Maybe put yourself in spaces where Palacios doesn't want to come and mark you, or a little bit of movement before the ball arrives, so you're no longer having to get into a physical battle with him.
Whistle right at midfield. Pass off the mark, looking for Johnston. Knutson back for Gagliardi and cleared away. Genzano trying to lift it over the top, looking for Frank Lopez. And that is a foul, bringing down Erlinson.
Lopez did well to keep the ball in play on the first attempt. Genzano just doesn't really give him much chance to get it back with that ball that he plays on the second attempt. And
I think that yellow card goes to Ryan Martin. He's been pretty animated, and he's talking to the fourth official throughout this game. I think he was hoping a yellow card would have gone to Frank Lopez, not to himself. Brad Jensen is trying to restore some order as Erlinson gets back to his feet. Erlinson coming over from Columbus Crew 2, where he spent the last 2 seasons, part of that MLS Next Pro Cup winning team under now Montreal head coach Laurent Courtois.
I think it's always a good trait to sign players who have won things. Irrespective of the level, there's that MLS Next Pro, USL One, just understanding what's required to win and being in those locker rooms, understanding the environment, understanding the little nuances, the little details that go into being a winner or to being a champion. I think they're things that you can't pay for, you don't learn unless you've been in those shoes. So I think when coaches sign players from winning teams or winning environments, I think is always going to be a positive. You want to bring those mentalities into your locker room.
There's a big Stanford contingent on this Loudoun side. Drew Skundrich, Zach Ryan, Keegan Tingy, Keegan Hughes. Just trying to look across the board. Hopefully I didn't miss anybody, but that's a great college program under Jeremy Gunn, to your point. They've done a lot of winning. Now trying to bring that here to Loudoun, and they're going through one of their most successful seasons they've ever had. They've never made the playoffs.
Yeah, and I think being able to bring that chemistry, obviously it's a completely different challenge. College soccer in comparison to USL Championship is night and day, but you're bringing in players who have a little bit of an understanding of each other on and off the pitch. So you already have players who have a little bit of chemistry, a little bit of cohesion and familiarity playing together already before they arrive. And I think that also adds a little bit of value for teams who maybe don't necessarily have the most expansive budgets, or Loudoun in their first year becoming an independent organization, leaving the umbrella of DC United. I think it gives them a little bit of an advantage as they continue to build and grow.
Well, they get to play big games such as the one they played at LAFC earlier this year. Ended up losing in a round of 16 in the US Open Cup, but that experience of playing at BMO Stadium against one of the best teams in American soccer, a great experience for this Loudoun side. And scoreline may not show it, but they held their own in that game. Tune into ESPN2 for a USL Summer of Soccer showdown and a top-of-the-table interconference clash. Powerhouse Louisville City facing off against perennial playoff contender Sacramento Republic, Saturday, August 10th at 8 p.m. Eastern on ESPN2. And don't forget, tonight there will also be a game on ESPN2. A good one out west. It's Sacramento Republic and the Pittsburgh Riverhounds, 10 p.m. Eastern tonight on ESPN2. Good slate of West Coast games. Monterey Bay against Tampa Bay, Orange County against North Carolina, and then the aforementioned Sacramento-Pittsburgh matchup. Quick passing from Miami as they keep possession. Cardona. Floated forward, looking for Frank Lopez. It runs through for Ugo Ferru.
Difficult ball for Lopez to do. He's not the big 6-foot tall striker who's going to be able to get that down on his chest and hold up play, but he's always a willing runner and a willing worker. Sometimes he turns some of those balls into a goal scoring opportunity just because of his willingness to go and pressure and close things down and make things happen. But I'm sure he'd agree when I say that the service needs to be a little bit better to give him opportunity to score goals.
Oh, the goalkeeper way off his line, and now can Loudoun make him pay? Miami got enough bodies behind the ball. The threat's not gone, and a heroic block. Junior Palacios putting his body on the line. It's out for a Loudoun corner. There's 2 players down, and the referee will not let Loudoun take this one quickly.
I think it's Awuru who has possession of the ball out there on the left-hand side, and when the goalkeeper's way off his line and he does get under control and out his feet, he tries to feed the pass rather than take the shot and score into an empty net. And I'm not quite sure why. Here he gets the ball under control. Goalkeeper's way out. Why doesn't he go for a goal? He tries to feed a pass into one player who's surrounded by 3 defenders, and obviously nothing ends up coming from that attack. I think that should have had a little bit more bravery there and tried to get the shot off himself. There's a couple of opportunities that Loudoun had in the attacking third when players have turned down the opportunity to shoot on goal, and I think that's evidently why the score's still 1-0 to Miami FC.
Palacios back to his feet.
All-access pass to the latest forecast from Janessa Webb, Jackie Lair, Damon Matson, Scott Sumner, and Brittany Ward. All across the DMV. DC News Now weather.
Corner kick coming for Loudoun, but a player still down for Miami after that long sequence and a few shots coming from Loudoun United.
Yeah, it was just a crazy moment. Goalkeeper's way out his box, doesn't win the ball. Awuah does win the ball, doesn't take the shot. Threads a pass that gets intercepted, and then two players go down injured. Moment of madness, to say the least. Let's take a look at that Miami goal again.
Let's see it, Chris. It was a good one for Miami, and this coming just 2 minutes into the game. And it was Genzano to get on the end of it.
And it's a great little pass from Gavilanes. Just receives the ball in a half turn and dinks it over the back line. And I'm telling you, that is a special header. I'm not sure if he means it or gets the connection that he wants, but it's in the back of the net, and it doesn't matter how it goes in, as long as it goes in.
Kisses it off the post. Well, now, the trainer just needs to come off the field, and we'll be ready to go. An IBEW Local 26 corner kick. Empower your future.
I see we're adopting some old school tactics here. Obviously, new rules mean that the players normally exit the field at the closest point rather than walking across the whole field to go off to the touchline. Just killing the clock a little bit in their favor as they're in the lead. Obviously, they want to slow down any opportunities for Loudoun to get back on the score sheet.
There were two players down for Miami, which means they both are off the field. It's 11 v 9 for the moment. Touched into play. Players way back on. Awuah deflected as it comes in. The header down and away. Loudoun is trying to keep it alive. Abukuro is mishit. He follows his cross. And now Loudoun able just to keep possession.
I think Loudoun have been guilty in the possession they had of making. There's times when taking the extra touch or making the extra pass is effective. But I think in this first half, there's been times where they've taken the extra touch or taken the extra pass when it's completely unnecessary, and the goal scoring opportunity has been removed because of that. I think they have to be maybe not a little bit more direct, but definitely a little bit more purposeful in the possession they're having or some of the decisions that they're making in the attacking third.
McCabe floated up, deflecting, and Cardona puts it out of play. Here's to see what the second half brings. And talking with Ryan Martin in past weeks, says they've been playing in more of a 3 at the back, 3-4-3, which is pretty much what they started in. But it says he's more comfortable playing in a back 4. But the reason they've done a back 3 is just to get as many good players on the field as possible. They think that's their best lineup when they can put their top lineup out on the field in that 3-4-3.
Yeah, and the reality is, as expansive as it sounds playing with 3 players at the back, unless it's a counter-attack and the opponents transition very quickly, it often becomes 5 at the back because the fullbacks will drop in and make it very difficult. So it often ends up working out that the team becomes a little bit more defensive when teams are a little bit more methodical in their build-up play. In transition, that's where you can get caught out because your fullbacks are now very high and wide and you are defending with just the 3.
And this will be a foul and a yellow card. A free kick on the way as Leggett will pick himself up off the turf.
Big miss here, Zach Ryan. Obviously, he was the one who got the free kick last week and buried it into the back of the net from a similar distance and similar angle. Just going into half-time, it's a dangerous place for Miami FC to give away a free kick. But just speaking briefly about the shots so far in this game, we've seen Loudoun have a lot of the ball, a lot of shots. However, approaching half-time, Miami FC have had 1 shot on target. They lead 1-0. Loudoun have had 1 shot on target. They're down. So for all the possession and shots that they've had, they've only been able to test the goalkeeper, Gagliardi, on 1 occasion so far in this opening half. And as we spoke about, the possession has been okay, but it's not necessarily hurting Miami FC. They're not penetrating or breaking them down.
Chance to hit this from distance, deflecting off the wall and into the arms of Gagliardi.
"29 final third entries for Loudoun and just one shot on target." I think that speaks volumes about how much they're missing Zachariah tonight.
Toronto going down, nothing doing for Loudoun.
And honestly, this opening 45 minutes, it's a long game, and there's a reason why Miami FC are where they are. But in this opening 45 minutes, you wouldn't say that they're bottom of the table. You wouldn't say this is a disheartened team that are playing with no purpose and they're rock bottom and the season's over for them. They're very much playing with a fighting spirit, an energy, a purpose, like they're out to prove a point. And
comes Miami again.
Despite the disparity in points on the table, I think it's been a fairly even first half.
Villanes gets end line, the cross floated in. Faroux able to corral it as we enter 8 minutes of stoppage time. It's brought to you by Novec. Novec's energy-saving tips are a real game changer.
If Granzano was just on the balls of his feet, just anticipating a little bit more, that the opportunity was there for that second goal. Goalkeeper fumbles it, bounces right there. Great opportunity for him to get his second goal of the night.
Awua floats it back post. Velo knotting it down. Tingy. That space closed very quickly. Toronto looking to connect with Lopez, who's fouled.
And again, good defending from Miami FC. They do a good job of getting close to the ball, shutting it down, getting bodies, making it very difficult getting the second ball. I think one thing they need to do is try to stop the service. Don't allow Velo and some of the Loudoun players to get the time and space on the ball to play those dangerous deliveries in the first place.
Frank Lopez just talked himself into a card. A yellow card for dissent for Frank Lopez.
Yeah, Miami FC just need to be smart, be careful. You see the referee has a hot hand for the yellow card. He's already issued one to Ryan Martin on the touchline. Frank Lopez now gets one. The last thing you need is to be going down to 10 men through dissent, through talking yourself into the book. You're 1-0 in the lead, approaching half-time. You haven't won a game away from home all season. Don't ruin it for yourselves now by doing something silly that's going to jeopardize your team and put them in a disadvantaged position.
One win in their last 20 games. Their last win coming on April 27th. A 2-1 home win against San Antonio. It actually started very well for Miami. A 2-0 win at home on opening day, all the way back on March 9th against Colorado Springs Switchbacks.
So I'd rather be useful.
It frustrates me when players get yellow cards for running their mouth. I think if you're going to get a yellow card, make it for a strong tackle or trying to positively impact the game or win the game on the field for your performance. If you're getting yellow cards just for talking your mouth, you have to have a little bit more self-control, and especially depending on how the season is going for you or your team. Talking, you can't talk yourself off the bottom of the table. The only way you get yourself off the bottom of the table is going to be with performances. If you start to get on the referee's bad side, sometimes it does have a negative influences and the decisions go against you a little bit more than they might do. Maybe this is where the experience again comes into play, where players have to understand how to also manage the referee, how to get the referee on your side a little bit. There are little nuances that are used during the game to kind of have those little influences that can have a big impact later on down in the season.
Played through the middle, Faroux able to come off his line and get a header to it.
Velo probably does have a case there. Knutson was a little bit late and it didn't look like he got much of the ball. A lot of Velo, former Miami FC player. Maybe there's a little something in there, letting him know.
Touch down the line, Abukura. A whistle and a yellow card, Nico Cardona.
We spoke about it briefly just now. The referee has a hot hand for his yellow cards, and you have to understand the situation and be smart. A number of players now sitting on a yellow card. Lopez, Palacios, now Cardona. And I actually like the intensity and the aggression. It's not a yellow card for me. It's actually a good tackle. But he's not going to rescind it. It is what it is. You just have to be smart now how you manage the remainder of the game. But I like the intent. I like the aggressiveness. I like the intensity from Miami FC so far in this opening 45 minutes. Question is, can they make it to 90?
Well, they haven't done it in quite some time. And we talked about the stats that they've conceded multiple goals in 12 straight games in 16 total this season. So the numbers are not on their side.
Yeah, but if history is the best predictor of the future, it's not looking good for Miami FC, given that they've not won an away game this season. But in this opening 45 minutes, they've done well. They're in the lead. They've defended well against Loudoun when Loudoun have had good possession and been in the attacking third and had the opportunity to get shots off. They've defended well. The question is, with the pressure, with the opportunities continue to build, can they continue to defend at this intensity for 90 minutes? More often than not, there ends up being that one opportunity that bounces off somebody and drops down and ends up being converted.
Maybe something here for Loudoun, chasing down a loose ball. And all Miami can do is just put it out of play.
But you see the mentality and the willingness of Miami FC, irrespective of where they stand in the tables, to work hard and sometimes chase those balls that they don't have the right to win, or to give a little bit more intensity when they're tracking back and defending it. Seems like there's a little bit more pep in their step tonight. And I don't know if that go-ahead goal has given that, as we spoke about. Had Loudoun got the first goal, I think we're looking at a completely different game, because it probably takes the win completely out of Miami FC's sails. But I think Miami getting that early goal has kind of given them a little motivation and put a pep in their step, and they've continued it through the first half.
Down the line, trying to get to the end line. Some contact there. And it looks like a point to the spot.
Again, I'm not overly convinced this is a foul, let alone a penalty at this phase of the game. But Loudoun have continued to cause problems on this left side of the field. Again, it starts with Awua roasting Molina again, and just leg it up against Palacios. There does look like there's a little collision between the legs, but thinks it's a harsh decision to say the least. But we've seen Awua get the better of Molina on this left-hand side a number of times, 3 or 4 times. That's led to opportunities. Terrible time for Miami FC to give away an opportunity here for Loudoun to get onto level pegging.
Miami FC coming in had conceded the most penalties in the USL Championship with 7. This is their 8th. And the only penalty scored this year by Loudoun by Zach Ryan, one of his 8 goals, as Antonio Nocerino takes a seat and has a ponder here before halftime.
Sometimes you create your own luck, and given how Miami FC have performed in this first half, I'm not sure we go into halftime tied.
It's Abdelatif Abukura against Daniel Gagliardi, trying to get Loudoun back on level terms. Abukura, he scores, and Loudoun is tied at 1.
I didn't think Abukura scored this. I thought he scuffed it and Gagliardi was going to get to that. It looks like Gagliardi went down in slow motion there. Thought that was very savable. However, I was wrong. We are going into halftime, it looks like, on level terms.
Abukura with his 5th goal of the season, and Palacios might be lucky not to have picked up another yellow card here.
I think it's a harsh call, but we spoke about playing the referee and being smart with the referee and how he's been eager to pull out the yellow card and give free kicks. Gagliardi goes the right way. Maybe it was a little far out of his reach. Loudoun tie things up.
Moved out wide. Mitrano, as this comes in, the header was missed, another chance, and it's saved! Appeals for handball, a yellow card to Frank Lopez, and he has been sent off. A 2nd yellow card for dissent to Frank Lopez. And in these last 3 minutes, it is all unraveled for Miami.
It's hard to put this into words. you go from having an opportunity to get the go-ahead goal just before half time, probably the last kick. It's Guenzano here again, similar area to where he got the go-ahead goal, and he ends up missing the target. Lopez is here claiming for handball. I'm not sure what he says. He's just gesticulating to the referee that he believes a handball was there, and the referee doesn't want to hear anything and gives him an early dismissal. Second yellow card for dissent. And Miami FC will now play the second half, the remainder of the first half, with 10 men.
Well, that last goal scored by Abdelatif Aboukoura, presented by Hanley Energy Management for a digital age.
And I think that I don't want to be harsh on match officials, but I think you also have to manage the situation of the players and the game. And in a high-intensity game, the heat is high. If a player's gesticulating because they believe it's a handball, I don't think that's an offence where you need to give them a card. If a team is at the bottom of the table and they're fighting for their careers, they're fighting for their futures, they're fighting for their contracts, the temperature's going to be high, the emotion's going to be high. They're just in a situation where they could have got the go-ahead goal again just after their opponent's team equalising. All the emotions are high, and the referee needs to be able to understand and manage and digest that emotion without reducing teams to 10 men, unless it's absolutely called for. Now, we don't know exactly what was said and what words were said, but given the footage that we've seen, it looks like Lopez is just gesticulating with his hand, insinuating that the ball hit somebody's hand, and he's sent for an early shower.
He wasn't the only one arguing either.
I think it's a little rough to say, a little harsh, but maybe we'll get a little bit more information as to what exactly was said that led to the referee making that decision. But we spoke about Miami FC. The last thing they needed was to go down to 10 men for players. For dissent, it's different if you're trying to win a tackle or you're doing something that's positive going to impact the team, but
Cabral,
the second time, dissent.
On the corner, and they'll get another chance. And we are well into stoppage time here. This entering minute 11. Let's just pick up the second half from here.
And now you do read a little bit of dejected body language from Miami FC. You do feel like a little bit of frustration in one of their...
As it's right in front, Knutson, it was saved and then cleared away, but it is out for a corner kick for Miami.
In one of their better first half performances, where they've now had two opportunities in the closing phase of the game to take the lead again. Knutson just with that strike there. Guenzano moments earlier. Lopez leaves the field with a red card.
Gavilanes, high lofted ball up right on top of Faroux. And that will bring this first half to a close. Plenty of drama in first half stoppage time. Loudoun find an equalizer, and then a player sent off for Miami is Frank Lopez. All square at the break.
Yeah, I think Farou's smiling there because he knows he's got out of jail twice. There's two opportunities there when Guenzano should have scored, Knutson should have scored. Frank Lopez has got a red card.
We have reached the break here at Segra Field in Leesburg, Virginia. All square at one at the break. It's been a fiery game here. It's Loudoun United 1 and Miami FC 1. Stay tuned for halftime.
You thought you knew Cuomo.
See the game, my friends. Expose the game.
The real Chris just might surprise you.
So you can change the game.
Surprising.
The agenda is you.
Free thinking.
News Nation is the only news organization whose name is reflective of you.
Game changing.
America is News Nation.
Cuomo. Weeknights at 8/7 Central. Only on America's fastest growing cable news network. News Nation. News for all America.
This is business today. Fast, unpredictable, always changing. Shifting trends and technologies are pushing aside old rules. The unexpected is the new normal. At Segra, we'll help you navigate a complex future with state-of-the-art voice, internet, and data protection solutions. We know you have dreams, and we see your potential. Segra, freedom to grow.
DC News Now is worth watching.
Thanks for joining us for DC News Now at 10.
Super serving the DMV.
Reporting in Northern Virginia.
Leaven Bowie.
In Upper Marlboro.
Forecasting each region of the DMV.
Region by region.
Responsive and ready for breaking news no matter the location.
To show you exactly how all of this went down.
We get there faster.
Reporting in Greenbelt, Maryland.
We cover more ground.
From Hagerstown.
Super serving the DMV. Watch DC News Now tonight at 10 on DCW 50. It's worth watching.
Isn't it nice when your everyday life hums along exactly as you expected? With reliable power from Novec, it does. Customers enjoy a 99.99% reliability rating, online and traditional payment methods, as well as 24/7 service. Getting electricity from Novec may be the most unexciting part of your life, and that's okay. Keep humming along with reliable power from Novec.
This will be all Zach Ryan as he goes for goal and scores!
Here's Torres, left-footed shot, and it bounces in!
Helps, and this could be a chance for Louisville. This is going to roll all the way through, and it's a big-time strike!
Worth takes it. Oh, and it's in! 17-year-old Nate Worth!
Weaves this one through. Zandy touches it for Damas shoots. Arozarena gets a right paw to it. Towards the back post. Headed down. Ross lets it go. Redirected. Oh, what a stop by Saldana. Blanco sends it in. Headed home and punched over the bar. A sensational save by Tristan Henry.
2-on-1. Here's Hurst walking in again. Hurst, Jamali Waite. The bounce Waite again.
To cross. The header is in! Nick Marquette scores!
Zach Ryan, it ricochets around and leg it! Oh, brilliant goal! Wesley Leggett!
This on that back line. Very difficult to track everyone.
Real chance at this with 20 minutes to go.
Into the sweet spot. Buddha takes the shot. Great stop. Penaranda kicks out the left boot.
Things are heating up in Leesburg, Virginia. It's halftime from Segra Field. It's Loudoun United 1 and Miami FC 1. More halftime on the way.
The two most important days in your life are the day you are born and the day you find out why.
Yeah, trick. I said what I said. I don't care. I paint the town red.
Survive this, it's going to make the whole story that much better.
The bright horses are broken free from the fields.
They're hungry for the women's game. They want to see women's soccer. They want to play women's soccer, and that's what we're building at the USL.
You can see it in my eyes, only want the best. We grinding every night, won't settle for less. Got me looking to the sky, got me feeling blessed. Got this fire burning up inside of my chest. Burning up inside of my chest. Got this fire burning up inside of my chest.
Pain doesn't care who you are or why you hurt, but pain can be mastered if you know the way. Fight back with Tiger Balm's legendary herbal power. Trusted for over 100 years, our proven blend of camphor, menthol, and essential oils tames pain with the strength and speed of the tiger, so that you can rise above pain and get back to living. This is the way of the tiger.
Williams fires, scores! Individual effort to put Detroit City ahead.
Gonna be Danny Griffin. Oh, that's a wonderful captain's goal for the Riverhounds.
Kieran Miller! 10,000 plus going crazy. Fred! El Paso lead on the road.
Does anyone feel like life can be really messy? I know I do. There is something shady going on. There's a million ways to cheat, and everybody lives on their phone. I found a screenshot of this woman. Let's be real. The game has changed.
I cheated, you cheated. So what?
I'm here to help make sense of it all, because trust, I've been through it all. And I'm not afraid to get into your mess. You are not winning in life. Let that sink in. So let's get into it.
Karamo, weekdays at 3 on DCW 50.
Halftime from Segra Field. It's Loudoun United 1 and Miami FC 1. This game has really heated up as the first half came to a close. See what the second half has in store. But first, news and notes from around the USL Championship. And how about Nick Okoto going to Burton Albion for a League One record-breaking fee? And then how about the Dominican Republic? They put in a decent performance at the Olympics. That's where Riley Benoit is as well, Loudoun player.
Yeah, obviously Edison Ascona is over there performing as well, representing the USL at the Olympics. But this is a trend we're seeing. Young talent coming into the USL, developing, getting the opportunity to play, a platform to develop, play against grown adults, grow, and then being transferred over to bigger leagues. Not necessarily the USL Championship is a smaller league, but opportunity to advance the both reputation league and the career of the individual player. I think this is going to continue to happen more as USL continues to grow.
And former Loudoun United player Kevin Paredes played a big part with the United States. Scores around the league. I know you were on that Charleston game last night, and what a goal fest.
Yeah, Charleston Battery delivered an absolute battering to Indy 11 yesterday. The depth in the roster, the strength, the substitutes came in off the bench and also had a tremendous impact also. It was a real blowout yesterday.
And Rhode Island salvaging a point on the road against Detroit earlier today, as seen on CBS. A 93rd minute equalizer, a league-leading 11 draws for Rhode Island this year. That's a lot.
I was just about to say, I feel like they're the team that's probably tied the most games this year in the USL Championship. Obviously, earlier in the season, they were tying a lot. They found a way to start winning some games, but they're on a good streak of form.
And what is to come tonight? Still a good slate of games on the way, including one on ESPN2, Sacramento and Pittsburgh.
And New Mexico, Louisville City is also a very, very exciting game. And Monterey Bay, Tampa Bay Rowdies, with the departure of Frank Klopas. It's going to be interesting to see how they react over there in the Bay under new leadership.
Frank Yallop. Frank Klopas still holding on with the Chicago Fire as of now. Now that is what the rest of the night looks like in the USL Championship. We still have 45 minutes plus here from Segra Field. It's 1-1 between Loudoun and Miami.
DC News Now is worth watching.
Good morning, and thanks for starting your day with us here on DC News Now.
Wake up with the team super serving the DMV.
If you want to get a head start out there before you head out the door this morning.
Keeping you in the know as you start your day.
Live here in Bowie, live in Dulles.
With weather and traffic that won't keep you guessing.
In DC, Maryland, and Virginia.
Wake up with a team focusing on all the communities in the DMV. Watch DC News Now. Weekday mornings from 5 to 9. It's worth watching.
Rising up like lightning. Won't give up, nothing can keep me down. Fire it up, I'm fighting. Won't give up, I'm gonna hold my ground.
Get tickets for our next match and info on special events at LoudounUnitedFC.com.
Weather for all the DMV. Your weather experts. You're watching DC News Now.
Gas prices got you fuming? No need to get heated. Save time and money with Metro. Ride, save, explore. Metro. Make your trip monumental. Sightsee through DC without overspending on gas and ride shares. Experience DC the local way. Ride, save, explore. Metro.
First half highlights, Loudoun United and Miami FC. We start things off in the second minute because that's when the goal scoring got started. Rocco Genzano got the goal.
And it's a great delivery here from Gavilanes. First touch, little clip over the defense. Genzano with a unorthodox header there. Gut finds its way into the side netting and gives Miami FC the go-ahead goal in the opening 2 minutes of the game.
Don't ask how, just ask how many, and they do have one. And then deep in his first half stoppage time, a penalty conceded by Miami.
A little rough, that penalty. Actually a good penalty into the corner, but I thought Palacios, who's obviously operating in a little different position to he's normally playing in the back line rather than in his more comfortable centre midfield, is the one who's held responsible for the penalty kick. That allows Loudoun to get equal.
And then right at the end, this was a moment of controversy. Was it a handball? Frank Lopez thought so, and then he got sent off.
And Genzano had the opportunity to put his team ahead here, just doesn't connect with the ball and get the shot on frame. Whatever Lopez says here, referee didn't like it. Second yellow card, heads to the tunnel.
That's what the stats look like. It has been all Loudoun. Really, it was those late flurry of shots from Miami that boosted that number, but they didn't have much in that first half.
Yeah, and we spoke about there's been plays where Loudoun's had maybe 3 shots at one time, and Miami have done well to throw their bodies in front of the ball. Only 2 shots on target despite 10 shots. For the possession that Loudoun have had, it's not been essentially build-up play where they've been able to break lines or break Miami down. Their possession has been a little bit frustrating to say the least, but Miami FC have been decent tonight. It's one of their better first half performances that I've seen, but the second half now being down to 10 men is going to be very challenging. I think it's downhill from here for them, but I think in the first half, their fight, their battle, their mentality, I thought they gave a good account of themselves despite where they currently sit in the table.
So some final words of encouragement from Loudoun captain Florian Villot.
What is that with Leggett short? You think he doesn't realize, or that's intentional? One up, one down.
Probably has to be intentional. You know, these guys, they're rolling their shorts up. I know that it's at night now, but they want to get their tan going. I don't know.
The cut in the back of the socks. I see this one a lot.
Well, it's maybe not so much in this game, but, well, you can kind of see it. Florian Villot's socks, look how short they are.
Listen, I'm telling you,
I've seen some shorter than that, too.
When I was playing, if you did that to the socks when I was playing, the kit man's grabbing you by the neck and he's having words with you. He's not letting you destroy his socks like that. And he's not giving you new socks every game. If you do that to your socks, you're in problems. But the game has changed. Players' games, the mentality's played. The mentality's changed. Let's hope all this superstition leads to a very exciting second half performance.
And here we go, Loudoun in Miami, 45 more minutes. With Chris Nurse, I'm Josh Eastern, glad to be with you tonight. 1-1 our score, Miami down to 10 for this second half. We had almost 11 minutes of first half stoppage time, and that's when this game really heated up. So it's 1-1, all to play for in the second half. When Loudoun and Miami met in Miami on June the 22nd, it was a 2-2 draw. That's the last point that Miami has put on their record here in 2024.
And I think the managers would have been smart hard time and just said to the players, shut your mouths. Don't say anything to the referee. Ryan Martin's already been given a yellow card, and there's a number of players on the field sitting on yellow cards. You see he has no sentiment or hesitation in giving you a second yellow and ending your game early. So I think for the sake of having the best competition possible in the second half, the smart thing, the smart advice that would have been given is that let your feet do the talking, keep your mouths closed.
Looks like number 15, Mujib Marana, has come onto the field for Miami. And it is Rocco Genzano, the goal scorer, that goes off. So he's the one sacrificed with maybe needing an extra man in defense if you're Miami in the second half.
And Genzano had a great opportunity just there before halftime to give Miami the lead again. Had they been a little bit more clinical and ruthless, they would still be coming out in the second half with the lead, despite Loudoun equalizing late in the first half from the penalty spot.
Marana acquired from Birmingham, last couple of years with Houston Dynamo 2 in MLS Next Pro.
But of course, that red card completely changes how Miami FC have to play the game. They can no longer be pressing. They now have Gavilanes alone up top. He has to be smart in his positioning. And of course, the possession statistics are probably going to go even higher in favor of Loudoun now. But again, you see they have the numerical advantage. They're not necessarily moving the ball quick enough to break down the shape of Miami FC. I did like it when Awuah got possession of the ball in the first half and he had the ability to take on. He was getting the better of Molina every time on that left-hand side.
There's Hughes to move it out wide. Tingy rolls it across the deck and cleared away. Select, the official match ball supplier of the USL Championship and many elite leagues throughout Europe. Visit us.select-sport.com for the latest Select products, specials, and more. Select, the player's choice.
Does look like Miami FC have gone into a 4-4-1 formation. Morano coming in and operating on the right-hand side of midfield, and it looks like Cardona's dropped into the back four as the right back. Palacios and Knutson still operating as the two centre-backs.
Okura trying to put some pressure on here. Palacios has to play this, and a missed touch. It's out for a throw-in. Delivered back out wide. Awuah. Touched away by Cardona.
Good play from both there, from Cardona and Awuah.
Dambrot somehow got that cross away. He was off balance. Awuah tracks it down again.
Good agility. We were center of balance, strong in possession of the ball, very agile.
Now McCabe and Hughes, and we were talking about this at halftime. It's probably what we're going to see a lot in the second half. Miami sitting deep defensively.
I think something you always look for in wingers is...
This comes in, Abukura, cleared away.
You look for in good wide players is how do they operate when they're under pressure. It's one thing being able to pass the ball or drive into space when you're free and you have time. But when you're under pressure and somebody's closing you down aggressively, how do you handle those situations? I think Awuah has shown he doesn't panic. He's still very composed, still very comfortable in possession and confident in himself when he's being put under pressure. And a very good trait that he has there. I think the only time he probably made the wrong decisions for this game was when he got the beating of Gagliardi in goal and he didn't take the shot himself. Tried to feed his teammate who was under pressure and didn't get the shot off.
Something to watch now. Time wasting here from Miami, just 5 minutes into this second half. The next game up for Miami FC. It's a battle at the bottom of the USL Championship table. It's Miami paying a visit to El Paso Locomotive next weekend. El Paso, the bottom team in the Western Conference. And another yellow card is shown, and Nico Cardona is sent off. Miami reduced to 9.
So we did have a tough one again. It's a free kick. He goes for the ball. It's a little bit low, so he ends up winning it with his body. We did question the first yellow card that he got. Looked like it was a good tackle. This one is really on the borderline. For me, it's not clear, but it can be.
But you go back to the first yellow card he picked up, that was not even a foul.
Yeah, and he is, on this attempt, he's going for the ball. Abukura doesn't necessarily even jump or challenge for the ball in this situation. And if you don't jump or challenge or even put yourself in a position to protect yourself, you're always going to be on the receiving end. If you look at how he's approaching to receive this ball, he doesn't go in a way that protects himself from any pressure from defenders, and he doesn't actually jump to actually try and compete for the ball. So he's always going to lose in that situation. And you have Cardona on the other hand, who has his eyes on the ball, is going to challenge and compete for the ball. And of course, they're going to clash bodies. Again, there's a fine line, I think, but I'm not sure it's a game that has really called for 2 red cards and so many yellow cards. I'm not sure it's been that aggressive, dirty type of game that warrants that level of cards.
Yeah, well,
I was looking for I was looking for a big word, and the best I could come up with was cards.
I mean, Frank Lopez, Nico Cardona, the only players who have picked up cards in this entire game, and they've each picked up 2 yellow cards now.
Alongside Ryan Martin, of course, on the touchline.
Yeah, well, players.
They're getting cards on the field, off the field.
So now, if you're Miami, you said maybe a 4-4-1 with 10.
This could be mistaken for a poker game, so many cards. We're choose soccer or poker.
Tommy McCabe waiting to put this back in play, and here they go. So a 2-man advantage now for Loudoun.
Things just got a lot harder, not just a little bit harder, a lot harder for Miami FC to get that first away win of the season in a game where they started off the first half with so much positivity.
Scored the first goal in this game in the 2nd minute.
Things have quickly spiraled in the closing phases of the first half, and just the opening 10 minutes of the second half. 2 red cards in key moments that will no doubt have a huge impact on the final result in this game.
McCabe down the line.
Big Palacios has to be very careful. And he's a player that he doesn't shy away from a tackle. That part of his game, or part of the impact he has on the pitch, is being physical, is making tackles. It's that side of the game where you are treading on a tightrope, where one bad tackle can get you a yellow card in. And he is that type of player. So it's going to be interesting if Notarino stays with Palacios, given the temperature of this game, or if he makes a change just to try and stay with 9 players on the field for the remainder, because another for Palacios and they'll be down to 8.
Now, if you're Ryan Martin, you have to look at this game and say, they need to be on the ball. They need to bring in some playmakers that can make a difference in this second half. And you probably look at this game anyway, and you look at Miami and say, okay, we should probably get 3 points out of it. Now with Miami down to 9, you're saying, okay, we have to get 3 points out of this.
Absolutely. And obviously, we spoke about what those 3 points could do for Loudoun. They could potentially jump up into 6th, and we know the distance between 8th.
Erlinson going low, another block shot and out of play.
Distance between 8th, the last playoff spot, and 4th, the last home tie for the playoffs, is just 5 points. So picking up 3 points and climbing the table is huge for Loudoun, just to give them a little bit of breathing space from the teams below them. Also to close the gap and keep dreaming of potentially getting that home tie also.
Khalil El-Medkar will enter this game for Isaiah Johnston. 2 goals, 3 assists for El-Medkar, his 2nd season with Loudoun after time with FC Dallas and North Texas.
Yeah, obviously an attacking player coming onto the field. Ryan Martin being a little bit more aggressive offensively, looking to create that scoring opportunity to get that go-ahead goal.
McCabe for Erlinson.
40 minutes is a really long time to be down by 2 players. So it's almost like a training ground scenario. Sometimes you play attack versus defense, and the defending team will have 9 players just to give the attack a little bit more success in their build-up. But it's a really long time to be down by 2 players. Physically, as the game drags on, it's going to get hard for the Miami FC players. And I imagine the last 20, 15 minutes is really when you're going to start to see things open up, when players physically just cannot do it any longer, and the space is going to open up, the opportunities are going to open up. And of course, there's going to be so many situations where Loudoun will have a numerical advantage, where there's going to be a player free in time and space. And then it's just a case of having the quality and the capability to finish the chance.
It was a local 26 IBEW corner kick. Nothing doing for Loudoun. And now Antonio Nocerino, he's going to need his players to at least get something going forward, but it's going to be nearly impossible.
And I think you have to give him a lot of credit. Despite being 2 men down, he's not going to give up the fight from the touchline. There's been moments when we see head coaches go and sit down at these times because they know there's not much impact that they can have being 2 goals down, and the game literally takes care of itself. But he's on the touchline fighting, encouraging his players not to give up, to compete, to battle. And whether they win or lose this game, it's a mindset that he needs to develop and put into them, so that even when they go back to being level pegging on terms, they never give up in any situation. So I think they have to give themselves credit, and Nocerino is leading that mentality from the touchline himself.
Gagliardi shaken up after taking that cross by Awua. They've got his hand stepped on by Wesley Leggett.
Yeah, you know it's bad when the player themselves are the first ones to react and trying to console him. Leggett knows he did it. It wasn't intentional whatsoever, but he was the first one to go to Gagliardi to check that he's okay. But again, it's Awura on that left-hand side creating problems. Been very impressed with him so far in this game.
Gagliardi receiving some attention. Things were going well, though, for Miami back in the first half. This was in the 2nd minute, and Genzano got his opening goal.
Yeah, they couldn't have asked for a better start away from home. They've been having a rough season, and there was the opportunity to get the go-ahead goal in the opening 2 minutes, leading away at Loudoun, and then lightning struck.
The lightning struck earlier tonight. Luckily, that's moved away. Unfortunately, it was an equalizer if you're looking at it from a Miami FC perspective.
Into the corner. Didn't really give Gagliardi a chance. Abukura celebrates the equalizing goal. Miami FC now find themselves level pegging, but 2 players disadvantaged. With still a long time left in this game.
Still at least a half hour. We got 11 minutes total of stoppage time in the first half. It's not to say we're not going to get it again after another long stoppage here. Drop ball to put it back in play. Gagliardi sending everybody forward. A set piece, something like this over the top. Can they get a quick strike attack? Doesn't quite work out here for Miami.
Yeah, and we spoke earlier about Miami not deviating from their philosophy or their style of play, building out from the back, but being 2 players down, now you see that
bit of a different scenario.
Their hand's been forced. If they're going to leave Loudoun with something at the end of the game, they've got to play percentage soccer.
Another clearance on the header.
They're going to have to put on a defensive masterclass for the next 30 minutes and hope they can potentially steal something on the counter-attack themselves.
Another corner kick coming here. It's an IBEW local 26 corner kick.
Moreno getting the better of Dambrot there, trying to take him on. But even dead ball situations like this, Miami FC are already down numerically. There's going to be players in the box that are going to be completely free because they can't mark man for man.
The in-swinger played towards the back post. Palacios was up for it. He is down, and because it's a head injury, Brad Jensen will stop play immediately.
I imagine we'll see a lot of this in the second half. Just Miami FC trying to slow down the tempo of play, disrupt any rhythm or momentum that Loudoun may be trying to build, and a little bit of sportsmanship, a little bit of game management.
And if you're Loudoun, you have to know you're going to get a lot of chances, but at the same point, you don't want to be wasteful in those chances.
Yeah, and you know, Miami FC have to do a job of frustrating Loudoun as much as they can.
Possession is all the way up to 68% now for Loudoun United in this game.
It's interesting. The only person on Loudoun that has a yellow card is Ryan Martin. There's no outfield players for Loudoun that have a yellow card.
Look at Palacios. That ball just coming off the back of his head. With the drop ball to put it back into play. Gonna come in field, Abukura for Dambrot. Tommy McCabe back onto his left. McCabe shot deflected out of play. Corner kick Loudoun, and IBEW local 26 corner kick.
Yeah, and even down to 8 players, you can still see Loudoun struggling to create any clear-cut chances against Miami FC right now.
Another chance, Tingy.
They're still being subjected to crosses from deep areas and shots from distance.
Another one lifted in. Gagliardi able to hold on to this one.
Let's get ready to Game Night on DC News Now with Derek Forrest, Brandy Flores, Alex Flow, and Jake Ron. Game Night, the only 7-day-a-week sports show tonight at 11 on DC News Now.
Another foul. Loudoun wants to go quickly.
Which is exactly what they should do. They should be trying to catch Miami FC when they throw bodies forward, and then they don't have so many bodies back to defend these opportunities, but they didn't. They had the opportunity to do it there, and you could see that it was very slow in the time they took to go forward.
Awuwa cross, back post, headed back centrally. Knutson to get it away. Almedkar looking for Dambrot, and nothing doing. Dambrot going to ground. Awuwa wins it back. Now here's Dambrot, fires this one in.
Palacios there with a unorthodox defending, finds a way to clear it away from goal, but as I said, I think you have to give Miami FC credit for the way that they're defending today.
Dambrot, Almedkar finds the corner! Loudoun United are in front. It's 2 unanswered goals and a 2-1 lead at home.
Almedkar, the substitute who comes in off the bench, has the moment that's having a big difference in this game. Miami FC had defended well, but this is a fantastic strike. He doesn't put too much power with it, just controls it, opens his hips, and accuracy finds the side netting. A moment of brilliance, a moment of quality that the game has been begging for, and Almedkar delivers. Not much Miami FC could really do. They're always going to be outnumbered. There's always going to be a numerical advantage. There's always going to be one player in time and space, and Almedkar has become that guy since he's come on the field. A good first touch and a quality finish into the corner has given Loudoun the go-ahead.
Third goal of the season for Almedkar as Jordan Ayambila comes in. 23-year-old Ghanaian. That goal scored by Khalil Almedkar, presented by Hanley Energy Management for a digital age. A perfectly placed strike by El Medkar has gotten Loudoun back out in front.
It was the right substitution. They needed a player who had the composure, the calmness.
That would have been a potential equalizer if not for the flag coming up for offside.
I'm going to go with if not, because even he went to finish the play and he put it wide of the target. It's a great tack here from Miami FC. Cabral plays it in behind and Bottas here. Even if the referee blows the whistle, finish the play, he puts it wide of the target. If the referee doesn't blow the whistle, he's still not scoring.
It was Roberto Molina exiting for Miami FC in that last sequence.
Loudoun was screaming for that player who had the quality, the composure to finish a lot of the possession that they had. And Medka came on and displayed that he was that guy very quickly. Less than 10 minutes on the field and he had the...
This comes into the back post. Murata, good defending. And trying to find an inch-perfect pass. He couldn't get it done. El Medkar, he lost out. Knutson gets it out.
El Medkar had the composure and the quality to convert.
Dambrot for Awua. Lifting it in. McCabe. Not trying to lay this off. El Medkar. And Loudoun just wanting to keep it here.
Yeah, I think Brian Martin will possibly be a little frustrated the way his team's playing right now. You're playing against a team that's down 2 players, and this is a phase where if you have anything about you where you put your dominance onto the game, you're in your home field, you put your dominance onto the game, you control possession, but you also kill the game off. Score 2 or 3 goals against a team that has 2 players less than you. That's what he'd be expecting now. He'd expecting this game to finish off 4-5-1 if they're really a strong team and they really have the potential to go and do something strong. 2-1, I don't think he's satisfied. I don't think you're content playing against a team that has 2 less players and you win the game 2-1. I think he's going to be demanding more for these final 25 minutes of the game. He's going to want them to be on the front foot, a little bit more purposeful in the possession, moving the ball a little quicker. You're going to have players in time and space who can drive forward. You're going to have the opportunity to play forward. I think the minimum is he's going to demand that they try to make the right decisions in possession of the ball.
Awua again trying to curl into a dangerous area. Gagliardi scoops it up.
Yeah, and whilst the delivery may not be the best, it isn't too dangerous area, but it needs to be better because there needs to be somebody making a run. His intent is good. He's got nothing else on his mind but taking his touch forward, looking forward and playing forward.
If you can't watch the match, turn on Sirius XM FC 157, North America's only 24/7 source for engaging soccer talk. USL All Access is Tuesday nights at 8 p.m. Eastern, all on Sirius XM FC 157 and the Sirius XM app. Now Miami, can they get something going forward? It's looking to play it into space. Long run for it. Ayambila couldn't get onto it.
Again, a little bit too much weight on that pass. Ayambila enthusiastic, trying to make the run in behind, but ball was just far too far ahead of him for him to get onto that.
Awua. Miami down to 9 men. Lopez, a second yellow in first half stoppage time. Both of his yellow cards for dissent, and then Nico Cardona picking one up in the second half.
For me, McCabe has to do more in the middle of the park here. Just getting the ball. Yes, he's keeping possession.
This deflects off the post. What a chance for Loudoun. And they win it back in a good area. Awua. Gavi Lanez trying to get it away, and he does.
I was just saying, for me, McCabe has to do more. Look, you've got time and space in front of you. Why not drive, let the other players get higher on the field? You might finish the game with 90% pass completion, but everything is sideways and backwards and very safe. Look how much time and spacing. Do something creative, make something happen, demand more of yourself. The opponents are down by 2 players. I think McCabe has to demand more of himself in that situation.
Goal kick for Miami.
Yeah, I think so.
Great chance moments ago for Loudoun. That post has to be a goalkeeper's best friend. Keegan Tingy, a deflected shot. Again, no rush to put this back in play if you're Miami.
Tingy cutting onto his left foot there. Shot ricochets off the post and back to the feet of Palacios.
Knutson. Sent all the way back for Gagliardi.
Unfortunately, none of us. We used to, that's why it's so far over in the end zone.
Loudoun trying to end a mini winless run. A loss and 2 draws over their last 3. Lost against Charleston last midweek and did 8 games unbeaten. So this cross sent into orbit.
It's Tingy there. He hit the post when he took the strike on his left foot there. He's tried to deliver a cross from deep there with his right foot and lacking a lot of quality.
The USL Championship is on CBS Sports and ESPN platforms all season long. Catch live matches and expert analysis every day on the CBS Sports Golazo Network and ESPN Plus. Go to USLChampionship.com for the complete USL TV listings, including a game coming up tonight. Pittsburgh visiting Sacramento on ESPN2, kicking off in about 45 minutes at 10 p.m. Eastern Time.
As I said, I don't feel like Ryan Martin can be content with the way his team is performing right now. They're playing against the bottom of the league team in the USL Championship, the whole of the USL Championship, if you were to combine Eastern and Western Conference together. And they're playing with 9 players, 2 players down. And you're not dominating the game in a purposeful way. The possession is mediocre, the decision-making is poor, the quality is lacking. There's been one good moment when Elmedco's come into the ball into the game, and he's had the moment of quality that's made the difference. But on the most part, I would anticipate that he's telling them tonight's performance has not been good enough.
Cabral lays it off. Bota could not get a shot away. These are moments they have to take advantage of, and now these are also moments that Loudoun has to take advantage of. Numbers forward for Loudoun United. Elmedkar, options in the middle as the cross comes in, batted away. Abukura, it's still available. Looking for a shot, and there's the finish. Khalil Elmedkar, a brace off the bench. It's 3-1 to Loudoun.
And it's no surprise it's Elmedkar, because he's the only one who wants to shoot on goal. They're on the counter-attack here. Numbers up, maybe 4 versus 2, minimum 4 versus 3. And we spoke about in the first half, the extra pass, the extra touch is taking away the goal-scoring opportunity. Here, Elmedkar has the ball. So it sends it centrally. Somebody's got to be on the end of this. Even when it comes here, get it down, get the shot off. He doesn't. Ends up falling to Elmedkar, and he doesn't mistake it. There's nothing complex about what he does. He opens up his body, guides it on target, and Gagliardi is unable to recover, and it's in the back of the net. But they need a little bit more killer instinct.
Khalil Medkar really just getting back to play. He played 10 minutes against Charleston, played 45 minutes against Pittsburgh. Before that, did not play since the U.S. Open Cup loss against LAFC all the way back in May. Just his third game back from injury, and has his first goals since May 18th when he scored in the 3-0 win against Monterey Bay.
Yeah, and El Medkar, in the 10 minutes that he's been on the pitch, or 15 minutes he's been on the pitch, he might have had more shots than anybody else, any other individual on the field for Loudoun tonight. And I think that's what has been lacking. We spoke about Zach Ryan missing, but Leggett has 4 goals in 5 games. Somebody else has to step up and fill that void, and it's only been since El Medkar has come onto the pitch they've looked like they have the quality in the final third to score goals.
Goal scored by Khalil Medkar, presented by Hanley Energy Management for a digital age.
And it comes in a moment when Miami FC were throwing bodies forward. As you see, it was on the counter-attack. Yes, there's players chasing back, but Loudoun had the numerical advantage and they had the quality in El Medkar to be able to convert the play. But I'm not sure if it was not El Medkar, not sure if it was somebody else that they score. He's been the only player who shows that they have the capability of putting the ball in the back of the net tonight.
Abukura. Remember Loudoun missing Zach Ryan, their top goal scorer with 8 goals. And also Drew Skundrich, who is a very important player in the middle of the park. Dambrot down the line. Awuah cuts it back. El Medkar looking to complete that hat trick. Sputters out of play.
It's a great little ball from Awuah. He deceives everybody and makes them think he's going to drill it across the front of goal. Just cuts it back into space. I think it might have been El Medkar. Again, they're looking for his hat trick in 15-minute second half hat trick.
Plenty of subs coming. Marco Santana will enter for Junior Palacios. Alan Gavilanes will be exiting. It'll be Chris Jean-Francois to enter. It will also be Manuel Bota coming off the field and Lucas De Paula to enter. And the 2 subs for Loudoun United, Tommy Williamson and Gavin Turner will enter this game.
Yeah, given the direction the game's going now, it doesn't make sense for Palacios to stay on, potentially get a second yellow, red card, and then be suspended for the next game. So, smart decision making there, I think.
Trying to come to the back post, nothing doing, and it was Abdelatif Abukura, goal scorer, along with Keegan Tingy, to exit the game for Loudoun. All 5 subs have been used by Antonio Nocerino and Miami. Turner, the 17-year-old, comes on for his 3rd league appearance of the season. He played twice in the Open Cup. He did add an assist to his tally. Marco Santana, the 19-year-old, a USL Academy contract player. He's from Madrid, part of the Miami FC Academy. Lucas De Paula, another Academy player, made his debut against the Tampa Bay Rowdies back in April. The 17-year-old, and then Chris Jean-Francois, an 18-year-old, also on an Academy contract. So that shows you the troubles that Antonio Nocerino is going to have next week when he's missing 2 players again.
Yeah, and I think the situation that Miami FC find themselves in now, it's the right thing to start bringing through the younger players and preparing the ones with the potential to have a bigger impact next year. Because if they don't get a platform to expose themselves, or they don't get the experience, next year they're still going to be an experience. So at some point you do have to start giving younger players the opportunity and the platform and games to develop at this level. And given the situation that they find themselves in the league right now, I think that the remaining games is a great opportunity to do that also.
Well, next week, a battle for they call it the wooden spoon, and it's them against El Paso. 2 bottom teams in the USL Championship, and the bottom their respective conferences. Awuah goes to ground and a point to the spot. And the man just onto the field, Chris Jean-Francois, commits the foul on Awuah.
Yeah, and feed Awuah all night. He's been dangerous. Nobody's been able to control it all night. When he gets the ball and he drives at play and he takes players on, he makes things happen and does exactly that again here. Picks up the ball, drives into the box, cuts back. Jean-Francois goes to ground. There's no question here whether that's a PK or not. 100%.
Yeah, looks like 30.
Another chance to go to the spot tonight. And who will it be? Looks like Florian Velo has taken the ball. I wonder if maybe it would have been Khalil El-Medkar, as Francois has his name taken.
I think Ryan Martin will be a little bit more content with how the game has started to go in these closing phases. And we spoke about it, as the game goes on, Miami FC are going to get a little bit more tired. The spaces are going to open up. The opportunities will come. And then it's a matter of having the players on the field who have the quality to convert them. But I think Awuah has been the best player for Loudoun tonight. I've been very impressed with him.
Florian Velo against Daniel Gagliardi. And Velo off the post. It stays at 3-1. Are you surprised that was not El-Medkar's penalty to finish his hat trick?
I think he would have been good coming off the pitch.
It's easy to say. I mean, hindsight's 20/20.
I mean, teams do have a given penalty taker, and irrespective of the result or the situation, sometimes you do want to stay consistent to having a designated set piece taker in this situation. But given Emeka has come into the game, he's giving you the 2 goals that's allowed you to control the game. Of course, every player wants to get a hat-trick, especially if you can come onto the game and do it in 20 minutes. Maybe in hindsight, they'll look back and be like, yeah, we maybe should have. But if Velo is the penalty taker, he's the penalty taker. If he scores it, maybe we don't say anything. The fact he misses it is why we're still discussing it.
2 subs coming. It'll be the end of the night for Jacob Erlandson, and it'll be Giannis Learman to enter. That was the one change. Learman coming out of the lineup. And it will also be the end of the night for Wesley Leggett, and the 18-year-old Pape Wayne will enter from Senegal. Final subs of the night.
Yeah, I imagine these substitutions will get a decent amount of time. I think there'll be far more than the 6 minutes of regulation time. I imagine we'll see a large chunk of stoppage time added on at the remainder of the game. So it's going to be interesting to see how these fresh legs are able to come in and try to stretch Miami FC even more. But again, I think McCabe has to keep the ball moving a little bit quicker in the middle of the park with the numerical advantage that Loudoun have. Whilst he doesn't give it away, doesn't necessarily keep the speed of the game very high.
Dambrot trying to get end line. Dambrot goes to ground, and it's a corner kick on the way, presented by IBEW Local 26.
Referee overturned a decision on this occasion. I think he's given a goal kick rather than the initial corner kick that he suggested.
eFootball 2024 is here. Live your dream, rep your team, and play as your favorite USL Championship club. eFootball is free to play. Download now.
A couple big moments completely changed the flow of this game, and the red cards, the penalty kick, really the trivial moments that had a big impact on this game.
You don't see it every day when a team goes down to 9. Here's Williamson. Lets it run through. El-Medkar down the line. Awuah, who's of course looking to cross, comes back into the middle. An acrobatic attempt right in front was missed.
Again, Awuah delivering quality into the box. Varies his distribution. Sometimes he's cutting it back short. Sometimes he's drilling it across the box. On this occasion, he just clips it and hangs up at the far post. Teasing ball, screaming for one of his attackers just to come in and head into the back of the net. Nobody's able to get onto it, but again, for me, Awuah has been very, very impressive on this left-hand side.
Loudoun County is where Leesburg is.
This one falls out of play. Earlier today, a 1-1 draw between Detroit and Rhode Island. That has both of those teams on 29 points. With 3 points today, Loudoun will eclipse 30 points, and they will move into 6th spot in the USL Championship, and still a game in hand on Birmingham, who is 2 points better than them in 5th spot, and Indy 11 also on 32 points. So this win tonight could mean a whole lot for Loudoun moving forward.
Yeah, I think we're going to see that top 6 change. Maybe not the top 2, maybe not the top 3, but I think the 3 below, I think we're going to see a lot of change over the next few weeks. Indy 11 getting absolutely smashed yesterday by Charleston Battery. Despite the good streak they had earlier in the season, they haven't looked that great recently, and I think there's potential for some teams below them, as you mentioned, Rhode Island, who are picking up steam at this phase of the season to overtake them and eclipse them.
Rhode Island has not lost in a very long time. They've not lost since June 8th.
And I think one thing that's having a big factor right now is the teams that have depth and players coming off the bench. They're able to make them stronger as the game goes on. It is having a huge impact. We've seen it with Charleston. We've seen it with Rhode Island. There's a number of teams that have that depth, and irrespective of what phase we are in the season, as they make substitutions, the team gets stronger, and we know that not every team has that ability. Sometimes the substitutions make the teams a little weaker.
As Awuah comes forward again, he's been a menace, and now the shot blocked. Learman out wide, Turner.
Of course, tonight El Medcar has been the substitution that's made a big difference in the game, getting the 2 goals. Essentially, they put Loudoun ahead against Miami FC.
You look just below. Oh, somebody's come onto the field. Yeah, that's not allowed to happen.
Oh, come on. You'd have to rugby tackle him.
You never know what you're going to see, huh? 9 men, kids on the fields.
He wanted to get on the score sheet.
Player down for Miami.
This hasn't been a game for the faint-hearted. I think we've seen a little bit of everything tonight.
Now we have.
We've seen missed chances, we've seen goals, we've seen red cards. We've seen academy players getting professional experience.
We're into 5 minutes of stoppage time, brought to you by Novak. Novak's energy-saving tips are a real game changer. Here comes Loudoun again, looking to add on to this total. Jean-Francois coming in again. He has to be careful. On a yellow card, you wonder if advantage is being played. And now the referee will pull this back, and another big decision to make.
What took him so long to blow the whistle? That's probably the strongest tackle that I've seen of the game. Velo looking for, he doesn't get any of the ball. There's no hesitation in my mind that that's a free kick.
I think the referee wanted to see if advantage would have played out, but why is that not another yellow card? I think that's what Ryan Martin is asking.
Well, I think everybody's happy that Awuah is just back on his feet, because he's been fantastic tonight, and the last thing you would have liked to see is him get injured off the back of a tackle like that.
Tommy Williamson and Robbie Dambrot are standing around this. A 4-man wall for Miami. This is Tommy Williamson, up and over the wall and in! The cherry on top tonight for Loudoun, 4-1.
Zach Ryan will be sitting somewhere watching, clapping his hands. He was the last player to bury a free kick in a similar angle into a similar position, and Williamson, absolutely magnificent free kick off the post. Gagliardi could do nothing but watch it. He's not getting to that frustration. Ryan Martin can relax a little bit. Loudoun ended up with a runaway performance at the end of 90 minutes.
That goal scored by Tommy Williamson, presented by Hanley Energy Management for a digital age. It's the first goal of 2024 for Tommy Williamson. And it's his first goal since August 26th of last year against Indy 11.
Straight off the training ground. Normally that's when you're having a little bit of fun with the goalkeepers and you tell them relax, you don't get close to those ones.
It's 4 unanswered goals tonight for Loudoun United, and they are coasting to another 3 points.
And it was a free kick you really didn't need to give away. Jean-Francois, since he come into the game, has been a little bit irrational. Gave away a penalty kick, then against Awua, then gives away a free kick on the edge of the box against Awua. I think Awua, for me, has been the standout player on the field tonight.
Dambrot. Awua. In a way, I feel bad for the fans on the other end of the field. They haven't had much action on that side. It has pretty much been entirely on this end of the field in the second half. The possession stats in the second half, 78% in favor of Loudoun. The touches in the opposition box, 24-0, and the final third entries, 45-13. That is just in the second half.
Glad it wasn't a one-sided game, man.
Well, and for Miami, it just continues to get worse. 5 straight losses, winless in 13. It'll be 14 now.
You making jokes? Oh, okay, cool. Oh, that sucks.
And that is full time. Loudoun United take down 9 men Miami by 4-1. A big second half from Ryan Martin's men secures the 3 points.
Yep, game, set, and match Loudoun. USL Championship, if you're unable to keep 11 players on the field, inevitably it's very difficult to win games, and Miami FC have unfortunately been on the receiving end tonight in what ended up being a very one-sided affair for Loudoun.
Well, we will come back and wrap things up tonight from Segra Field. Full time from Leesburg, Virginia. Loudoun United 4, Miami FC 1.
The season is right around the corner. It's 2 of the best teams in DC going head-to-head.
Unstoppable. The season is upon us, and tonight, the battle for bragging rights in the district.
It's one of the most exciting times in the year in sports.
Knifing through the middle, gets into the scores.
One team looking to make history.
Full slate of highlights and games on game night later tonight at 11 p.m.
Does anyone feel like life can be really messy? I know I do. There is something shady going on. There's a million ways to cheat, and everybody lives on their phone. I found a screenshot of this woman. Let's be real. The game has changed.
I cheated, you cheated. So what?
I'm here to help make sense of it all, because trust, I've been through it all. And I'm not afraid to get into your mess. You are not winning in life. Let that sink in. So let's get into it.
Karamo, weekdays at 3 on DCW 50.
Our full-time highlights. A lot to get to in this one because there was a lot that happened. Second minute, this is when the goal scoring got started, and it was Miami FC.
Gavilanes with a beautiful little chip over the defense here. And Genzano heads it into the side net in the opening 2 minutes to give Miami FC the lead.
The lone goal of the game, and then right before halftime, a point to the spot.
Tough decision here against Palacios. Just before halftime, gives away a penalty, and Loudoun get the equalizing goal.
So Abu Kura scores it for Loudoun, and a bow to the crowd. That was just the tip of the iceberg in first half stoppage time.
Everything
because there was another red card.
Genzano here could have got the go-ahead goal once again. He doesn't. Lopez gesticulates to the referee. That's a handball, and the referee didn't like whatever he said, and second yellow card just before halftime. Miami FC are reduced to 10 men.
And then we go to the second half, 51st minute, and Miami go down to 9.
I thought this was harsh on Cardona. He has his eyes on the ball. He's going for the ball here. Abukura doesn't really challenge for the ball, and Cardona's given his second yellow card. Miami FC's second red card. They're now down to 9 men.
And then it was Loudoun again. They finally picked it up. They were looking for a moment to take the lead, and it was the substitute El Medkar.
Yeah, and until El Medkar came onto the field, Loudoun didn't have this type of quality in the attacking third, and within 5 minutes beyond the pitch, has the ability to open up his body with his first touch and bury it into the side netting with his second touch.
77th minute, he would start this move for Loudoun, and eventually he would finish it.
They had to find the ball back to El Medkar, and does nothing more special than just opening his hips, guiding on target. Gets himself his second goal of the night. Loudoun ahead, 3-1.
So a brace on the night for Khalil El Medkar. That brings him up to 4 goals on the season. And then, how about Tommy Williamson, the cherry on top?
Yeah, Williamson's just waves at Gagliardi, says, don't worry, you don't get close to these ones. Into the back of the net. Beautiful free kick. Loudoun run out winners in the end.
So that will do it for our coverage tonight from Segra Field. A comprehensive victory in the end for Loudoun United as they take the 3 points. For our entire crew and broadcast partner Chris Nurse, I'm Josh Eastern saying so long. Loudoun United move into 6th place in the Eastern Conference. A 4-1 win over Miami FC. Good night from Leesburg.
This copyrighted telecast of the United Soccer League Championship cannot be retransmitted, rebroadcast, or reproduced without the expressed written consent of the United Soccer League Championship.